Hey guys, it's Alicia. Today I have another What's for Dinner video for you. Now this week I was focusing on just using up stuff that I have in the house. I didn't want to have to go out to the store and get anything else. So I was just using things I had on hand. Now my husband and I do Weight Watchers. We're on the green plan. So all these meals are Weight Watcher friendly. The only thing that's not Weight Watcher friendly in this is the wheat bread that I had. So other than that, everything's Weight Watcher friendly. So if you want to see what we had this week, just keep watching. The first meal that I made was one of my all-time favorite Weight Watcher meals, and that is chicken enchiladas. I have been making these forever, and I really love them. They're super easy, and they are tasty. So they start with some cheese. I've got some 2% milk cheese, and then I also have some fat-free cheese. And so I'm just using a combination of the two. And that seems to be working pretty well in the different recipes that I've been using it in. Next, I'm gonna add a can of fat-free refried beans. And I always think refried beans look so disgusting when I'm taking them out of the can, but they are so good. Then I'm gonna add a little bit of this salsa. And then this is 2 chicken breasts that I have baked in the oven, and I've just chopped them up. I'm gonna throw those in there. And then I'm going to just stir this up real well. I have 2 13 by 9 inch casserole dishes here, and I've sprayed them with some cooking spray. And now I'm gonna take that green enchilada sauce, and I'm gonna pour half of the can on the bottom of these 2 casserole dishes. And I'm gonna save the other half for the top of the enchiladas. Next, I'm gonna take some of these white corn tortillas, and I'm gonna just take a few of them at a time and heat them up in the microwave for about 15 seconds or so. And that gets them to where they're kind of soft and pliable. And I'm gonna take each one of these and I'm gonna fill them with about 2 tablespoons of my mixture. Then I'm gonna just fold that over, and then I'm going to place these in the pan. And I'm gonna just go ahead and do that with the rest of them. You will get roughly 24. I got, I think, 22 this time. So yeah, it kind of just depends on how much filling you put in, but anywhere from about 20 to 24 of these. And now that I've got these all filled, I'm gonna take the rest of that green enchilada sauce and I'm gonna just pour it on the tops of these. And then once I'm done with that, I'm gonna bake these in the oven at 350 for about 30 minutes. And I like to bake them uncovered. You can cover them, but if you cover them, they're gonna be a little softer. I like to have them a little bit almost crispy, so I bake mine uncovered, but that's all just personal preference. And this is what they look like when they are done. And here they are plated up. I have 2 of these, and they are 3 points a piece, so I've got 6 points worth of enchiladas there. I have topped them with a little more salsa, some fat-free Greek yogurt. You can also use sour cream if you want. And then I put a little cilantro on there too that I had left over. I also had some broccoli with these. Didn't have anything on it, so it was 0 points. So this total meal was 6 points, which is not too bad. Next up was a turkey sausage and mushroom pasta casserole. This is really good stuff, and it starts with some wheat pasta that I've got there, and I'm gonna just cook that until it is al dente. And then I also have a pan here that I've got on medium-high heat, and I'm gonna add a little olive oil to that and get that all heated up. And once that's heated up, I'm gonna add in my turkey sausage, a large red onion that I've chopped up, and an orange bell pepper that I've chopped up. And then I'm gonna just get this cooking. I'm gonna add a little fresh ground pepper to this. You can add salt at this point if you want, We are always watching our salt, so I'm not going to add any to ours. And then I'm going to just let all this cook together until those onions and bell peppers have started to soften a little bit. And at that point, I'm going to add in some mushrooms. And I'm going to just let these cook until they start to soften. Once those mushrooms have softened, I'm going to add a little garlic in there. I love garlic. That container I had there, I actually didn't know if I'd be able to get through it all before it started going to bad. And definitely no problem because I put garlic in everything. So I just let that garlic cook for about a minute until it started to get a little fragrant. And now I'm adding in some oregano. And this oregano did not want to come out. This happened to me last time I used it. You'd think I'd learn and take the top off and just pour some in my hand. And then next, I've got some basil, and this was much more cooperative. It actually came out of the container. Then I'm going to just stir that up. And now I'm going to add some marinara sauce to this. I just dumped that jar in, and then I took it, added a little water, and kind of sloshed it around to get the rest of that sauce out of that can. Now I'm going to just stir this up, and then I'm going to just let it sit on low heat for a couple minutes and just let it kind of simmer and do its thing. After letting that simmer for just a little bit, I go ahead and add my pasta to it, and then I just stir that up really well. Here I have a 13 by 9 inch casserole dish that I have sprayed with a little cooking spray, and I'm going to just take this and dump it in there. And then I have some mozzarella cheese and some Parmesan cheese, and I'm going to just sprinkle both of these as evenly as I can on the top of this. And once I've got all that cheese on there, I'm going to be baking this in the oven at 350 for about 30 minutes. And this is what it looks like when it is done. You just want to bake this until that cheese is nice and melty like you see here. I've got a serving of this plated up, and that is 10 points on the green plan. And while that may sound a little high, this stuff is so good, and it's really, really filling too. So I'm totally fine with it being 10 points. I've also got more broccoli. Broccoli was a very common thing this week. And again, nothing on it, so 0 points. So this was a 10-point meal altogether. Next, I'm doing a skinny stroganoff, and that just starts with some pasta. I've got a mix here of wheat, and I ran out of that, and so I added in some tricolored rotini. I'm just going to cook that until it is al dente. And then here I have a frying pan with some olive oil in it, and I'm just going to add a pound of a lean ground turkey to that. I used to always make this with lean ground beef, but I hardly ever buy ground beef anymore. I use turkey for most things now. So got some of that in there, and now I'm going to add a little fresh ground pepper to this. You can add salt to this too if you want at this point. And then here I am adding in a chopped red onion. And I'm going to just cook the two of these together until that turkey is browned and that onion starts to soften up. Now I'm adding some mushrooms to this, and my kids do not like mushrooms for the most part. So since these mushrooms are really, really big, I decided to kind of break them up a little bit, try to make them a little smaller, a little less noticeable, and then maybe my kids wouldn't realize they were there as much as if they were in the big, huge chunks that they started out with. But so once I've got that done, I'm going to just cook all this until those mushrooms are softened. Those mushrooms are nice and softened and shrunken down. So now I'm going to add in some garlic, and I'm going to just cook this for probably about a minute or so until that becomes fragrant. Now I'm going to add in some Shiraz. This is Winking Owl. I get this at Aldi, and I always say in my Aldi hauls how much I love the Aldi wine, and I do. And I actually had bought this to drink, but now I'm cooking with it. So you can use any kind of dry wine that you want, white, red. You just want to make sure it's on the more dry side. So I'm using this, and now that I've got that in there, I'm going to just stir this up, and then I'm going to just kind of let this simmer for a while until some of that wine evaporates off and there's not so much moisture in there. Okay, and now I'm going to be adding some Worcestershire, I still can't say that word, sauce to this. And at this point, I have turned my heat off. And some Dijon mustard. I love using Dijon mustard, especially in things like this. In fact, I love using it so much that this container was basically empty and I didn't get to add as much as I would have liked to have put in here. Now I added a can of low-fat cream and mushroom soup. And then I just stir all that together. Next, I add in a little non-fat plain Greek yogurt. I used to use sour cream or fat-free sour cream, but now I use Greek yogurt. And I use Greek yogurt for a lot of things anymore. It is just really good stuff. It's very versatile, and it works really well for a lot of things. Like in this case, for a sour cream substitute. So once I've got that all mixed together, I'm going to add in my noodles, and then I'm going to mix that all together. I've got another 13 by 9 inch pan there that I've sprayed with cooking spray, and editing this video, I realized how many 13 by 9 inch pans I use. So I just poured that in there. Now I'm just kind of smoothing it out, and then I'm going to be baking this in the oven at 350 for about 25 minutes. And this is what it looks like after it is done. And I was telling my husband that this does not look the most appetizing, but I swear to you, it is so, so good. We love this stuff. And this was dinner. This is a serving at 8 points for us. That was a very sad, pathetic serving of broccoli. That's all we had left. And there is the bread that I don't even want to talk about because that is definitely not Weight Watcher friendly. I have no idea how many points that is. I just know it's a lot. We have kind of been off track, to be completely honest, with the making bread. That's really got us off track. We've been making a lot of bread and eating a lot of bread, and that is definitely not a Weight Watcher friendly thing. So we're not going to talk about that bread, but it is delicious. If you want a wheat bread recipe, I will link the video to that up above. Without the bread, this would have been a really healthy meal at just 8 points. With it, who knows? But we all gotta cheat sometimes, I guess. Our last meal was pork chops and cheesy cauliflower waffles. Now, the pork chops, my husband just cooked on the grill. He's usually the one that does all the grill cooking. In fact, he is the one that does all the grill cooking. He does a lot better job than I would, so he did those up, and then I did these cauliflower waffles. I'm not going to show you how I did them because I actually just did a video on these, which I will link down below. They started out as kind of a hot mess, but they turned out to be really, really good, and we definitely enjoyed those, and we'll probably be making them again pretty soon. The pork chop was 5 points, and the cheesy cauliflower waffles were just around 3. So the total for this dinner was 8 points, which is not too bad. And that is what we had for dinner on Weight Watchers this week. I hope you were able to get some ideas out of this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you on the next one.